Hello, this is Isabel, and I'm here with the Between Classes podcast. Today we have Sara Johnson with us, who is the president of the College Panhellenic Association, which oversees the sororities here on campus. And she's just going to kind of tell us a little bit about what it's like to be in Greek life and in a sorority. So if Sara, you want to tell us a little bit about your position and what your role is in that position.
So I'm currently serving as the College Panhellenic Council President here at SDSU. My term is up in December, and then I'll be moving on to different things. We'll have a new exec board come in. But what my position is kind of there for, and what College Panhellenic is there for, is we oversee all the women's side of Greek life, and then we pair up with IFC, which stands for Interfraternity Council, and is the men's side of Greek life, to really help build the community, the Greek community here on campus.
Yeah, great. Okay, so now that students are trying to come back, or are coming back to campus, and they're looking to get involved, we thought we'd bring you on to just kind of tell us what it's like to be in a sorority, what sorority life is like, or even Greek life as a whole. If we want to talk about men's and women's, that's totally okay. So what is the main function then of CPH and maybe even IFC, like you brought up earlier? What do you guys oversee? How does that work?
So just focusing on the women's side of things, there's the 4 chapters that we have on campus that we oversee. And so the College Panhellenic Board's function is, so we have delegates from every chapter, and we get together, we have weekly meetings to vote on matters that are pertaining to the Greek community. And then if there's ever any issues between chapters, we help to resolve that. But one of our main goals is to facilitate interaction between the chapters and just making sure that we aren't divided by our chapters, but come together as a whole Greek community through different programming and volunteerism and things like that.
I think that's great. It's definitely, Greek life can be a huge impact, and by bringing them together, you're making an even larger impact on our campus.
Yeah, definitely.
So how many sororities are here at SDSU, and what are they?
So we have 4 sororities currently on campus: Alpha Omega Epsilon, Alpha Zeta Delta, Ceres Women's Fraternity, and Chi Omega.
Cool. So if someone was looking to get involved into one of those, what would be their steps to joining?
So we actually have our women's primary recruitment coming up. That'll be September 12th through the 15th. To sign up for it, there'll be the individual chapters tabling in the union, as well as Panhellenic will be tabling in the union these next couple weeks. We'll have different info sessions. There's posters going to be all up around campus. But one of the best ways to get information currently, I would say, is to follow our social medias. Facebook has a lot of information, but I'd say our main advertising format right now would be Instagram. So it's just SD State Greeks, and then there's the link directly in the bio to sign up for recruitment, both on the men's and the women's side.
Do students have a deadline to register? Do they need to make sure they get their registration in before a certain time?
So we suggest getting it in. So recruitment starts on the 12th. So if you can get it in by the 10th, that would be ideal. But if you really want to get into it and you're worried about it, you can come talk to us either in the Greek Life office, which is in the student union, and the student engagement office.
So then what does primary recruitment kind of involve? I mean, for someone who's not even sure about Greek life, but they've heard about it, what would that 4-day process look like for them?
Our campus is very unique in how we do it compared to other campuses across the country. So it's the 4 days of recruitment, the 4th day being bid day. The first day, you kind of show up. There's a whole bunch of other girls around you, anywhere from 100 to 200, anywhere in there. And then you're put in a little group, and then you have a row gamma, which is pretty much a recruitment assistant that'll help you go through the process. They're from a chapter, but they choose to disaffiliate for this period of time to help the new members going through find their home in Greek life. So you'll have your group that you go through with. You'll get to meet all of the chapters on the first night, and then you'll come back for the second night. You'll get a little bit more in depth. You'll learn more about the organization. You'll learn about their philanthropy, their housing options, and what it's like to be part of their chapter. So you'll be paired up with members, and you'll talk either one-on-one or two-on-one, super laid back and casual. They just want to get to know you. And then, so that's the first and the second night. And then the third night, you get invited back to different parties. And then the 4th day is bid day, when you get to find your home in Greek life.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah, it's a crazy 4 days, but it keeps you busy.
If someone was unsure about Greek life, I mean, a lot of people aren't sure about it. What would you recommend? Would you recommend they go and just kind of feel it out, see if it's right for them?
I definitely say there's no harm in trying it. I've been talking to a lot of the freshmen these past couple days at the freshman welcome events, and my saying for them is you might as well show up because it's $15. It's a very easy registration process, and you get a free cute t-shirt. So there really isn't a lot of like harm that can come from this. And even if you don't decide to join a chapter, you're getting to meet a lot of like other people in Greek life and just around campus, because again, there's gonna be other people who decide not to join, but you get to know them. And then when I was going through, I personally like found out when I was talking to different girls in the chapters, they're older and you can learn a lot of like wise advice from them. I found out about a whole bunch of different like clubs and activities and things I could get involved with on campus, because the Greek community is super involved with like everything on campus. So it's just a good way to find out more about SDSU in general.
Sounds like a great thing to be a part of. Okay, so if someone then decides I do want to join a sorority, are there requirements to joining?
So every chapter has their own requirements for joining, but they really work with you and help like guide you through the process of like what needs to be done and what are these certain requirements, and they're really honest like and upfront with you about them, and they help to make sure that you meet those requirements. Like they're nothing strict or scary.
Yeah, we're eliminating the scary aspect. Yes. It's just why not try it, right? Yeah. So then if someone decides to, join Greek life, what are some of the things that they might get out of it to benefit them in the future?
Some of the things that I really focus on are the academic aspects of it, the volunteering, and the professional. So for academics, there's going to be a lot of people within like your chapter that you join that are within the same major. And so you always have those like people to help you with your classes and studying and tutoring. A lot of the Greek members are tutors here on campus or SI leaders. So again, a very valuable resource to have for those younger freshman students and sophomores and pretty much all throughout your college experience. So a lot of academic help, whether it's like study hours or just a whole bunch of random things. There's going to be inner Greek tutoring starting hopefully within this next year, so not just within your chapter but throughout the whole Greek community. And then for the volunteerism, every chapter has their own philanthropy that they're very involved with and very committed to, and they raise a whole lot of money and do a whole lot of good for things that they're really passionate about and really care about. And then the professional aspects, I just think it's crazy that I didn't realize how big of an impact the professional side could have, but I just started like a new internship this fall, and my boss was involved with Delta Chi here on campus. One of my coworkers was in Alpha Zeta Delta, and then her husband was one of the founders of Lambda Chi. So it's just like a crazy mixture, and like you can have all these like special connections with people because of your Greek involvement from college.
That's awesome. It's kind of connected wherever you go, even once you leave SDSU.
And I even ended up like getting my internship because it was someone in the Greek community's older brother was involved, and they're like, yo, you should apply for this. So it's all crazy how it's connected.
Are there on-campus housing options for Greeks, and are there like different costs that are associated with those?
Most of the chapters do offer housing. Alpha Zeta Delta and Series are the two women's chapters that have Greek houses, and so they usually open those up to usually sophomore students and on up, and there are like different fees associated with that they'll talk a whole lot more about, and you'll get the rundown during recruitment, either night 1 or night 2. And then Chi Omega has apartments in the new Southeast apartment building that they just built on campus that they're living in. And so yeah, most of them do have different opportunities, and the costs vary depending on it, but it's pretty affordable, and it's a good way for sophomores to like have a different living experience than what they had as a freshman when they were strictly on campus.
Yeah, and I'm sure those girls are all, getting to really know each other through that experience and getting to live with each other. Yeah. It's kind of like a big old sleepover. What are some of the time commitments that people might want to think about before they join a sorority?
I always hear from a lot of people when they're really concerned about like how big of a time commitment it's going to be, and they're really worried about that. But I always tell them it's as big of a commitment as you want it to be. You get out of it what you put into it. So it can really be as like big of a commitment or little of a commitment as you want. Usually there's just like weekly meetings that are like an hour to maybe 2 hours on the long side. And that's pretty much it for like the 100% you have to be there. But even if you can't be at those, they have attendance policies. So we really make it doable for people. And it can be anywhere from like an hour a week to 10 hours a week, depending on like how involved you want to be. And a lot of them are just like fun events, and they help you get involved in other activities on campus. So
what are some of the long-term benefits that you would say people get out of Greek life? I know you kind of touched on this through your own personal experiences, but do you have any other, things that you've seen maybe through other people's experiences that have really benefited them in the future?
I mean, a lot of people talk about all the leadership skills that they gain from it. You obviously are going to be better at like talking to people. There's different positions that you can hold within the chapter. They help you become more responsible and organized. And then another one of the big benefits that I've just like recently heard about from like a couple other people. I was like just sitting in the Glow an hour ago, and they were talking about it. But they had these really like demanding internships that they did over the summer, and from the time commitment and how learning how to like manage their time through Greek life, it really helped them when it came to actually having a full-time job, because they knew like what to expect. They knew how like demanding it would be and how to like manage their time and be effective in that.
So you're getting a lot of things out of Greek life that are going to benefit your future, not even while you're in school, but outside of school.
And you get your lifelong family. So you always will have people, no matter where you go or where you end up in the country. Like 2 of the people from my chapter are down in Texas right now, and they're like meeting a whole bunch of people from like all over who were like in their same sorority, and now they're all like meeting up down there. And so it's super cute, like just how everything ends up.
I love that. Yeah, so even when you leave SDSU and say you want to move to Texas, there's probably going to be someone who was involved with your chapter there that you can, meet right off the bat if you don't know anyone.
Definitely.
So then I know that there are some stereotypes behind Greek life, and from what I've seen here at SDSU, we really have a zero tolerance policy for hazing and some of those other stereotypes that are depicted in movies. Do you kind of want to touch on just how we make sure that those things are eliminated from our campus here?
So we have a very strong like risk management policy here, and every chapter has to implement their own risk management policy, and that just includes like training on what is considered hazing and how to be a productive Greek member and how to make sure that all your new members feel safe. So the chapters have very strict regulations of their own, and then as a council, as the College Panhellenic and the IFC and the Unified Council, a whole bunch of terms I'm throwing at you right now, but pretty much just the sum of the Greek community and the boards that oversee them. We have our own really strict policies, and we go to training yearly at the nation level where we talk to a whole bunch of different speakers and we get more individualized training on that. And then we have a judicial process that we go through if there ever are any incidents. And so it's really taken very seriously, and we're always being open to talk about it, and if anyone ever has a concern, always being there to listen and support them, because we always want to be there for the victim. And so, but we haven't had any instances at all in the past. A lot of the Greek communities across the country are implementing these Greek scorecards, and as a council we were looking at it and starting to like put together what our Greek scorecard would look like, and we were like, wow, there's zeros everywhere, because there just hasn't been any incidents on our campus. So we're really proud of that.
Yeah, that's something to definitely be proud of and to showcase. From what I've heard, I always hear so many positive things about Greek life and how they're impacting the campus, the community, individuals. So now that we kind of gave a recap of what sorority life might be like, how would you give advice to someone who's looking at sorority life, but they're not sure if it's right for them? What would you tell them?
So my biggest advice would be go talk to someone who is in Greek life. You're always welcome to stop into the Greek life office. We call it the GLOW, which is in the student engagement office. And there'll be Greek members from all the different chapters in there willing to talk to you. Or feel free to reach out to our vice president of recruitment, who's in charge of our recruitment process. Her name is Helene Barawari. All of her contact information is on the Greek life website, which is part of the SDSU website, as well as on our social media channels. And then there's posters all over campus. So talking to them or any of our recruitment assistants, or even talking to the Greek life advisor here on campus or myself, we're more than welcome to listen to you, help you decide if it's right for you. But overall, we just recommend that you go to the recruitment and see what it's like, because that's the best way to get a feel for it. And just because you show up to the recruitment process doesn't mean that you're committing to joining a chapter. It's just you showing up to get more information, meet some people, and get a t-shirt.
Yeah, why not try something new and have a fun weekend?
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, thank you for talking to me all about Greek life. Just to end, I want to ask you 2 questions. So that first one would be, what's your favorite thing about SDSU?
So I was thinking about this, and as like cliche as it sounds, I have to say the ice cream is my favorite part of SDSU, because it's always right there, and they give it away at like so many events. At least once a week there's free ice cream on campus, so you just have to like hunt it out and find out where the free ice cream is at.
Yeah, if you haven't gone to the dairy bar, it's a must.
You have to check it out.
And then what is your favorite thing about Brookings or the community?
My favorite thing about the Brookings community is how like welcoming and accepting they are of the college students. I feel like it's just a very like friendly community. Like I'll just be out walking my dog all the time, and like people just like come up to you, say hi. They're super friendly. They aren't like looking down on the college students at all. So just like how welcoming everyone is.
I completely agree. Something special that we have here in Brookings that I don't hear about at every other campus. Okay, well, thank you, Sara, for coming on our podcast today. I hope that people got as much as we did out of just learning what it's kind of like to be in a sorority, and hopefully they will look into joining primary recruitment and getting to really see and be involved in that process.
Yeah, I look forward to all the girls who decide to come out for it.